Sweet, recording has started. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming to this webinar. I'm really excited because I'm going to share a lot of things that I usually share on my workshops, and it's in a very simple language so everybody understands it. And it's going to take a little bit of time because I've put into that webinar a lot, but all of them necessary, without really going into details in each of them, but necessary to tap into all of them, to give this holistic view of what is happening, okay, with our bodies, with water, with fasting, with everything. So I am going to start sharing my screen. You must be able to see my screen now. Let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna make this small, and right, and we're ready to start. Let's see a couple of this. I can see you. I also want to make sure that I have access to the chat room so I can see your messages while I'm maybe it's not possible with, okay, I'll leave it as this. Okay, here we're at Secrets of Water. I call it a journey through catharsis. I'm originally from Greece, and in ancient Greek teachings, we have the so-called catharsis element of practices, which means purification. Purification is like the closest translation to catharsis is purification. There is no such an exact translation, but it means that catharsis for mind, body, and spirit. Back in the days, they had it more for spiritual practices. These days, we're also using it for our bodies. All right. All information presented in this workshop is for informational purposes. This workshop and its contents are not intended to be substitute or replacement for any medical treatment. Your own, unless you consult with a holistic health practitioner first. Why I say this? Because if you're on a medication, if your root cause is different to somebody else, now what we presented here is the root causes as a generic element. Each one of you have different processes in the body, and that's the reason why we're having these different custom protocols for each body. There is no such a thing, one fixes it all, right? There is 1 second to allow a few people more to come in. There is no such a thing as one protocol fixes it all, and there is no such a thing as one pill fixes it all. So everybody has its own root causes. So if you're dealing with something, it's very much important to ask for guidance and not to go through by yourself to do it yourself. Okay. Right? We're not doing do it yourself without having the knowledge. And this is the important message here. Who I am. Like I said, I'm originally from Greece. My name is Violeta Nestopoulou. I'm a certified holistic health coach and detox specialist. And for me, the journey was the life that led me to one defining time when everything changed. And from then I was on a path that I never walked before, the path of self-healing, and what that means for me and for my journey. 16 years ago, I had skin cancer when I was 22. And 6 years later, 10 years ago, I'm 39 today, I was diagnosed with tinnitus, cancerous breast cyst, IBS, DNA mutation, and a myriad of other manifested conditions that I had while I was living in a very busy life in London. I lived in London for 11 years in a very dominating masculine industry where a lot of suppression and a lot of emotions and a lot, even though I thought I am eating healthy, it wasn't enough. Also as a background, so you understand, I'm a professional athlete. That's how I spent my entire teenager years. I was very well aware what it means health and movement and meditation and all these things. But still, when the busy life knocked at my door in my years in London, I still had to deal with all these healthy issues, even though I thought I'm eating healthy. So for me, what I realized in my journey and working with others, and especially the last 5 years working with people, is that the lack of discipline on embarking on a journey of self-healing comes from lack of knowledge. Because when we know what actually happens in a very simple language, we're more motivated to take action, right? So I was guided by water in the beginning of my journey, of my healing journey 10 years ago. A little bit parenthesis here. If possible, everybody to mute on your side so we don't have background noise. Thank you. So I was guided by water, and fasting revealed a clear conversation about how water can heal the body and how it changes mood, energy, and mental stability. I experienced that by repairing the human body through biohacking practices and connecting water, body, and emotions through the moon cycles, one can balance the whole system. And I'm going to explain on this presentation in a holistic way how you can achieve that. Okay, as I also mentioned, I follow my lineage Greek ancient teachings of catharsis, purification of body, mind, and spirit, while also living in Central America, studying the Mayan cosmovision and the connection to the earth through ceremonies and medicine plants. So that's my journey. That's how I've gathered and studied and researched everything that I teach today. Today's journeys, and we're going to start with something very simple. As Rav Bradway said, through my most favorite book, that is a fundamental to everything that you ever read in your life. It's called Nanotechnology, Mind Over Matter. It says if something is overly complex and difficult to grasp, chances are it's not true. Truth is always simple enough for even a small child to understand. So unfortunately, most of the time when a simple truth is presented to us, it often goes right off our heads because we are used to overcomplicated things. And we're used to believe that when somebody comes with these spiritual words that is smarter than us and they know something, actually, to my experience, it's just an ego trying to represent an identity. Truth is really simple in a simple language. This is what the Kabbalah is teaching. This is what the ancient Greek people also were teaching. Guys, a little note, if it's possible to mute your microphones on your end. So how we're going to go through this workshop, we're going to put some fundamental concepts first to understand how we've been put together and how is the importance of consciousness in water. Then we're going to go down to practicalities and facts, how we're getting diseases. Then we're going to explain a little. Sorry, guys. If possible, to mute on your side because I hear my voice double when I speak and it's hard for me to lead this way. Thank you. So we're going to have the fundamental because when we build foundation, it's easier for us to understand moving forward. Then we're going to tap into the facts, like what is happening in the body, how we get sick and all these things. And then we're going to move into biohacking, bioresonance biohacking and water fasting. Then we're going to go into healing of water, why water is healing, all the secrets around water. And then we're going to move back to water fasting. Okay, this is the agenda for the day. So fundamental concepts, why water is medicine and why we are one with the earth and everything around us. This is a question I keep asking every single workshop I run in different festivals, online, everywhere. And after till this day, I haven't got an answer. Not because people are not smart and I don't want to offend anybody. This is because we are not learning these things in school. And these things are fundamental. So the reason why we're not embarking with devotion to our healing journey is because we have lack of knowledge, right? So my intention through this work is meant to put out knowledge with a hope to actually empower you and motivate you to improve your relationship and communication with your body. To have this human experience here on earth, you have it only through your body. Consciousness resides within your body. No matter how many spiritual practices you do and medicine plants and this and that. Okay, one second, we have a message.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Luna. No matter how much, and you see people nowadays, they want to ascend, they're going to want to go up. No matter how many of these things you do, if you don't descend down into this body, which gives you a human experience, and everything starts with the atoms of your being, we're not going to progress. We're going to go do just a half job. All right. So this is mainly the intention of the entire webinar, and then you take your own action how you want to proceed in life, right? So another concept that we've heard so many times is water lives. One concept is why water is medicine and why we're on here on earth the same as everything around us. That I never got a very specific, simple answer. And the other concept is why water is life. So many times people saying water is life, and they're sharing it everywhere on social media, and they're saying it here and there, and they say, oh, drink water because I heard water is good, and you're all water. But this is very vague concepts, right? I want to know the whys. For me, for example, and for many people, if you don't know the answer to the why, you're not motivated enough, right? So water is life. We breathe water in the womb. We live in a bubble of hydrogen inside the womb, and we breathe air once we are born, a form of hydrogen, which is the original form of water. Is one concept, right? We're 70% water on a volumetric level, but molecularly, you're 99.9 water molecules. And I will explain why you're 99.9 water molecules. We are one with nature. That's another question that I keep asking. And like I said, I haven't got any answer. The answer is just here where I've put a question mark. It's very related to atoms and how differently they're holding hands. Very, very quickly, to make it that a little bit interactive, can you write on a chat room what you think is happening here? And we are one with nature and everything around us. What is happening with our atoms? Very quickly, so we can also delay on time. Is anybody has an idea of what is happening and why we are one? Because when I stare at the trees and I study nature, I want to know why we are one. Very close, Georgina. We are all made of the same elements. What elements? Fire is reproduced and it creates something in the air. Water has its own element. Wood, it's also an element. All these different objects, they're holding hands in a different way. They're different molecules, right? This is a different molecular. This is a different molecular. But at the fundamental bare form of our creation is that atoms are the same for everything. The tree and the human being, the glass that I'm holding, the table, my phone, everything you see around is the same atom. What makes it different, the glass and my skin, is that those atoms holding hands with one another in a different way. And as they're holding hands, they create molecules. From the periodical table, from the physics, the chemistry, you see, if we have this number of molecules together, then we have this element, right? This mineral. If we have this amount of molecules together, then we create this element, right? So the elements are different, but the fundamental concept to the bare form of our creation is the atoms are the same. So my skin, with the ground, with the leaves, with a glass of water, are the same exactly. Atoms are the same and they are immortal. They never decay. So when, for example, people who decide to be burned after the death and you see their ashes, these ashes is minerals. And these minerals are the only thing in the universe that they never break down. Those atoms will never be destroyed. So when I die and I be buried in the ground, then my atoms become mushrooms. It could become another tree. Or you could even have atoms from Christ when Jesus Christ was here, right? Incredible atoms that were present during the time of Big Bang Theory, some 15 billion years ago, are still with us today, right? As they never decay. So what makes the difference is how they bond to create molecules. When two atoms hold hands, they are now a molecule. This is like workings of an alphabet. When letters of an alphabet join together, the letters are now called a word. When the atoms stop holding hands, the molecule dies, but the atom continues to live on. So, for example, you have a word that you created by putting the alphabet together, but if you separate the letters, you don't have a word anymore. That's exactly what happens with us, and that's how we've been put together. So how now water is related to this? We have two different types of bonds in the universe. The ionic bond, which is everything you see around, everything. Your skin, your flesh, your bones, your skin, your hair, your phone, your laptop, your table, the flowers, the trees, the stones, everything. The wood is everything an ionic bond. And then there is another bond, which is very, very strong, the strongest bond that you've ever find in entire universe. And it only exists in one element. It's called covalent bond, and it only exists in water. So imagine now you're 99.9 water molecules, water molecules, because your body itself, your entire existence, it consists from the strongest bond between atoms that is called covalent, and it only exists in water. All right, this is not a coincidence. And now that's where consciousness comes into place. This is fundamental. This is how we're building our tower, to understand everything else that is happening in this world. So a single atom is a microcosmos of our behavior and state of consciousness. Why? So is it clear? So we have ionic bonds and covalent bonds. Everything in this universe is an ionic. Only one element is a covalent, which is the strongest bond, how they hold hands. So a single atom, we said, is a microcosmos of our behavior and state of consciousness. Why? Because consciousness itself resides in the atoms of your body. And how you take care of the atoms and how you take care of the atoms of your body, the waters of your body, will determine how you live your life, the state of consciousness you are operating from. Do you guys understand that? This is such a simple sentence, and it explains the entire concept of how consciousness works. So how you take care of the atoms of your body, the waters of your body, you're 99.9 water molecules. So how you take care of those bonds, covalent bonds of water, will determine how you live your life, the state of consciousness you're operating from. Are you operating from receiving consciousness or from sharing consciousness? And here is how it's been represented within our bodies. This is the atom. Imagine this as the satellite, that the moon is a satellite to the earth, right? So this is the center of the atom with the protons and the neutrons. And around here, we have a satellite with its pair of electrons, right? The electrons are negatively charged, and it represents your receiving consciousness. Negatively charged represents your receiving consciousness, selfishness, manipulation, victimization. The proton in the center, is positively charged, and it represents your sharing consciousness, how much you're able to share from your heart without asking anything in return. Really, really, really hard to get there, right? Super hard, because I say this and I share in every workshop. It's easy to say to people, I love you and I want the best for you, but just don't sit on my table. But how many times have you said to your enemy, come and sit and share with me in the table without asking anything in return? So hard for us as human beings that we're ego driven to get to that point, right? And so the neutron, which is neutrally charged, is your free will to navigate between different states of consciousness, right? Are you going to be on a positively sharing consciousness, or you're going to be in a negative receiving consciousness? All this resides in the atoms of your being. So no matter how much medicine plans you do and you're elevating your being and all these things, if the atoms of your being are not stable, so you're able to operate from sharing consciousness, you're not going to get there. As simple as I said, right? The vessel, the human body, has three components: the negatively receiving, the positive charge conscious sharing DNA of God, and the free will. Resist the light in order to stop all receiving and activate the sharing. Right? So now, ionic covalent bonds. In the ionic, that is everything that you see around, what is the difference between a tree that also has an ionic bond and your skin and bones and everything else that also have an ionic bond? What is an ionic bond? Your character and your consciousness will always be affecting the atoms of your being. So when you are more in your receiving consciousness, this electron will start breaking away from the center of the atom, right? Breaking away. When you're breaking away, this atom is not stable anymore. So it's trying to steal and look for other electrons in nearby atoms. The language here is not a coincidence, right? Stealing, trying to grasp, all this is consciousness. So the more atoms you have in the body that electrons breaking through, the more you're prone to receiving consciousness, whether you like it or not. How do we call these atoms that are missing electrons? Can somebody tell me very quickly in the chat room? You all have heard this word. It's also a trend nowadays on social media, but we haven't connected the dots. Free radicals, Gina. So that's correct. This is a free radical. When an electron breaks away from the center of the atom, it creates free radicals. The more free radicals in the body, the more oxidative stress in the body. What is oxidative stress? One atom is fighting with a nearby atom to steal electrons. The more atoms that you're missing electrons, the more you're going to be in receiving consciousness without even realizing it. Okay. So here, how they are holding hands in the ionic bond is by donating to one another. For example, this one here is missing an electron here. So it's trying to become stable again. It's missing here, and it needs the outer round to be again stable. There is another atom nearby that it has an extra electron here. So it's going to go closer and say, okay, for the sake of sharing, I'm going to give you one, so you also be completed. But this electron, this atom here, is approaching this atom not from a place of sharing, but from a place of grabbing and stealing. So when you are missing electrons, you're going to go and attack others to grasp from people for your benefit, to manipulate people for your benefit. Everything starts in the atomic level of your entire being. This is an ionic bond. Now on the covalent bond, which is the water. So the water's main feature is the fact that its atoms bond through a process called covalent bonding. In this scenario, atoms share the electrons with nearby atoms. They're not donating to one another. There is not an exchange here, as it's here. We're not exchanging anything. We're not trying to steal, and this one for the sake of sharing to give, right? This is an exchange here. Here in the covalent bond, the same, you see, they're missing an electron. They come close and they're sharing them. They touch one another and they're sharing them. This covalent bond only exists in one element, the water. And you are 99.9 water molecules. That's the reason why you've been created as a water being with covalent bonds. So your consciousness is strong enough to experience this life from a sharing consciousness. So how now everything has gone so wrong in this world, and we are more on this way of donating and sharing and stealing atoms, right? Before that, I really would like very, very fast to go through that for last time, because this is the last slide around that. Then we're moving on to the facts and how the electrons break away from the atoms. I'm going to read it really fast. It says, behavior is born of consciousness. When we are reactive and selfish in life, our reactive selfish macro force of consciousness resonates with countless atoms make up our body. The condition of every chemical bond depends exclusively on our behavior. Reactive versus proactive, selfish versus selfless, egocentric versus humble, angry versus calm, victim versus accountable. Every behavior is affecting the atoms of your being, whether you're going to lose electrons or you're going to have stable, strong electrons, right? This is without a question an evolutionary moment in our understanding of how the human body functions. The most important shift in human awareness and understanding that can take place is for humankind to realize that as space comes between people, space comes between our atoms, electrons breaking away. More space between the atoms of your being, the more space you create with human beings around you. How we interact with others reflects how our atoms interact with one another below the surface of our organs, tissues, and cells. I am sharing all this information because of water. This is the secret of water. This is why we are water. This is why water is medicine. This is why we are water. This is why we are water beings. So a chain of reaction is now created millions of free radicals, atoms that lose in electrons, and things begin to spiral out of control. Free radicals damage everything they touch, including tissues, cells, and even DNA, causing faulty translation to genetic material, the start of every condition and disease. This damage causing aging, many major diseases, including heart disease, certain cancers, and rheumatoid arthritis, and of course, it eventually causes death. Simple, the Tower of Babel effect, where people have their voracious appetite for other atoms' electrons. Can you see this sentence? The voracious appetite for other atoms' electrons. This is pure manifestation of what you're seeing in humanity nowadays. Starts with the atoms of your being. So how you take care of the atoms of your being is how you take care of one another, how you take care of your own consciousness. There is not such a thing as a free radical. It's only selfish receiving consciousness and the buildup of toxins being manifested at the most elemental level of our body's reality. And this is a really beautiful analogy where two atoms accidentally bump into each other. The first atom says, "Are you right?" The second one says, "I think I lost an electron." The first atom says, "Are you sure?" And the second replies, "I'm positive. I am positive. I am operating on receiving consciousness, selfish manipulation, victimization, stealing from one another. This is what has been going on in the world. It starts in the atoms of your being. And if you don't take care of your health and elevate the frequency of your body, will continue happening in this world, no matter what. People want to um, grow. They have self-development. They want to move forward. But if you don't go to the fundamental concepts and take care of your body, you're not supported to everything that your soul and your whole being from a conscious mind wants to do and achieve. The body says otherwise. So let's move on to facts now. How does it become acidic? Okay, so one, we have the consciousness itself. The behavior is creating here. Your behavior is creating the electrons to break through and away from the center of the atom. This is on the energetic. On the physicality, tangible matter of being. How does it become acidic? Stress, deadly bottled water, tap water full of chemicals, processed unhealthy food, environmental toxicity, medication, heavy metals, toxic skin products, and the largest organ of your body is your skin. How many times have you read these titles? And how many times they go right over your heads, right? Because we're so used to see them nowadays, yeah, stress, yeah, that bottled water. I'm still though buying plastic bottle to drink water. Oh yeah, environmental toxicity, what shall I do? I'm living in a city. Yeah, EMFs, but I'm not actually buying a sticker to block the EMFs. Oh yeah, toxic skin products, but I'm still buying these products that actually polluting and building up toxins in the body, creating my consciousness to be at a lower level. This all runs in an agenda. This is the agenda of the world. They knew really, really well how to do that. Okay, so because all these titles go right off our heads, and we never remember them to make changes in life, let's go through them by one and just get these little reminders. We're over-consuming chemicals through the produce we eat, even organic food. Even organic food has pesticides. We're chronically nutrient deficient, even our soil is deficient in minerals. The bare form of your creation is water, minerals. We're exposed to 200,000 heavy metals. Our water supply is full of petrochemicals, pharmaceuticals, halogens, heavy metals, pesticides, and other toxins. Having drunk tap water or drink water in plastic, we're on maintenance meds and pharmaceuticals now more than ever that are stripping the body even further of vital nutrients. Medication, people are medicated for years and years and years. We're having our glands, thyroid glands removed, and other body parts while being told we didn't need them away. This is insanity. We're overusing antibiotics for every cold and sinus infection growing up, wiping out healthy microbiome, creating super bags, and stressing our immune system more and more, never addressing the root of the symptoms. We're giving synthetic hormones to fix our problems. Women, this is for you. Synthetic hormones to fix our problems when they only increase stress and strain on an already stressed liver. Everything is in an order. Everything is a domino effect. We're hooked on illegal drugs like sugar and food additives. When low fat, low salt, did Atkins, and many other diets, binge ate, and having an eating disorder, get Botox, fillers, and breast implants, work on a demanding job that you hate, never seen the sun, and lacking meaningful relationship, lacking boundaries and purpose or enjoyment in life. This didn't happen overnight. We've been creating this day by day. So the cancer and the autoimmune disease didn't come out of nowhere. We have created that to our own bodies. So that's an old dusty paradigm. We have been taught that the body attacks itself. We're taught that body is always a hostile environment with trillions of microbes all around us and in us. We're taught that there are good bacteria and bad bacteria. We're told that disease can happen to us due to some static genetics and that we're all sitting like ducks in a pond, that we are a sum of isolated systems and parts, isolated parts of organs that we can easily just remove them without even taking any consideration the energetic body. Of course, the only way out of this predicament is to stay dosed up on the prized products of the medical establishment. However, the truth is much different than the model what have been taught since childhood. The way out of this destructive paradigm is to live it for good and to really understand how the body functions and how it is designed to live in harmony with the environment. So, when our toxic bucket is full inside of the body, our bodies are no longer choose health and vitality. It's now only choosing survival. How many of you are experiencing symptoms that we don't know how to translate them because the body is actually speaking its own language that we never learn in school how to translate that, right? And we are on survival. Constipation, eczema, bloating. That's just symptoms, not even a condition, right? Symptoms. And we're stuffing ourselves down with meds to go on survival, right? To survive every day without even knowing what it means, health or vitality. So when this happens, all of our other systems start being compromised. Digestion, gut is prone to parasites and other pathogens. So we have the leaky gut. Those pathogens stealing out nutrients, and we have hormone and thyroid problems. So when your hormones are dysregulated and your thyroid has a problem, the thyroid is not the root cause. Your thyroid is an effect. So you have to go back and see what is the root cause. Usually, for hormone imbalances, there is a deficient in selenium, B12, iodine, and then you see hormones starting getting dysregulated. The same for thyroid. So you prescribe thyroid medication to do what with the effect? Never going back to the root. The same with eczema. So when that started happening, the liver and the kidney get so bogged down with chemicals, the blood sugar start getting dysregulated, insulin resistance hello, right? A lot of people having insulin resistant now. The adrenals are called into action. They're firing up. We are under stress on a daily basis, fight and flight mode. And the mitochondria, at the end of the day, the cells are affected. So we have the heart and brain conditions. So this is the domino effect. And we need to understand what is the root cause and what is an effect. Okay. So here is the root. Here is the effect, right? And it starts with physical and energetic bodies. It starts with toxins, deficiency in minerals and vitamins. That when we're deficient in that, we start building up on toxins. When we're building up on toxins, we create more an acidic environment for bacteria and parasites to survive. We are overpolluted with heavy metals that enter our bodies from every single way. Toothpaste, water, we're inhaling toxicity. It's everywhere. Body lotions, cosmetics. Cosmetics are the worst for heavy metals. So heavy metals started building up in the body. Parasites and bacteria and candida starting attaching on heavy metals. And then there is a vicious cycle here, affecting your free radicals and your gut health. So electrons breaking away from the center of the atoms. And then, now excuse my language, you're fucked. Right? This is already a lot that is going on inside the body that 100 years ago, this was not happening, right? Plus, energetic emotional suppression, the way we live nowadays is not how our ancestors used to live, just 2 and 3 generations ago. All this started with an agenda 150 years ago, how to mass manipulate humanity. And they found the way through this domino effect. So these are the root causes that start in creating SIBO, Hashimoto, Crohn's, acne, eczema, arthritis, hormonal imbalances, thyroid, autoimmune diseases. All these are in effect. So the Western medicine is focusing here, giving you medication, isolating its organ from anything else, and then we're not seeing healing. We're not seeing people progressing. They're just on survival. What did he say here? We are on survival. We're not in vitality. We're not going to progress in this world and make a change if we're just perpetuating this story. So here is the root causes. And through the Bayesian scans that I do in every person I work with, this is a common thing. Everybody has this very much imbalanced. So when we work together in that holistic way of biohacking and water fasting, I don't care about the Hashimoto. I don't care about the arthritis, neither the thyroid. What I do care is what has caused them. So I go here and I find the root causes. Once you start healing this part and you're removing the pathogens, you increase the quality of your water, so you enhance the consciousness of your entire operating system. You increase your minerals and your vitamins, and you repair your gut health automatically. This is going to repair itself. You don't really need to do anything. That's how the holistic journey works with biohacking and water fasting. And now we're going to go into deeper to understand and explain what is biohacking and water fasting. But I'm going to spend a little bit more time here just because, again, I said many times, most of the times we hear these concepts as a generic things. We all know them, but they go right off our heads, right? Until we go a little bit more in details, give a little bit of examples, and something clicks within us. So we have the symptoms, and let's not normalize them. Let's not normalize them because I like to say we have the symptoms that the body is talking its own language. We just haven't learned to decode that language because we speak English, we speak French, we speak a different language, right? But the body has its own language. In the end, if you don't take care of the symptoms, and let's say symptom says you have walked 5 meters into the forest, and then there is a decade later has become a condition. You have walked another 5 meters into the forest. And then 10 years later, it has become a disease. Arthritis, cancer, autoimmune, that everybody's thriving today since 40 years old, since their 40s. So you have walked another 5 meters into the forest. So what do you think it's easier to repair and walk back 5 meters when you have walked 5 meters in and you have symptoms to walk 5 meters back? What is easier? Or to walk 15 meters into the forest and you have already manifested disease and a condition, and then you have to walk 15 meters back, right? So the body is giving us signals through symptoms to tell us that something is out of balance. And if you don't take care of it, then yeah, you're going to keep walking into the forest. So take action when the body is talking, so you only have to walk 5 meters back. Initial signs of body tissue acidity, the symptoms: fatigue, headaches, eczema, psoriasis, acne, diarrhea, constipation, bloating, PMS. PMS, how many women have PMS, right? Check your deficiencies and start from there. Having increased death until K, feeling nauseous, suffering from loss of libido. How many people nowadays are on that stage and they do nothing about it, right? Because we have normalizing us like, oh yeah, I have constipation for 10 years. Oh yeah, I'm feeling so tired. PMS since I started having period and it's been 20 years. So you keep walking into the forest, and then signs of long-term body acidity are far more serious and include osteoporosis, weak immune system, chronic digestive problems, hello SIBO, arthritis, kidney disease and gout, heart and circulation problems, fungal and bacteria infections, and cancer. Cancer, the most misleading disease out there in the world. Cancer is just many, many, many thousands, millions of damaged cells in the body. And there is a way out of it, a very devotional path when you start repairing the cells of your body. But to get the cancers, you have walked 20 meters into the forest. Cancer did not attack you. Autoimmune disease did not attack you. None of the things are attacking your body. Is that we're not taking care of our bodies. So we have our immune systems up and our cells at its optimal health vitality. Right? So the body holds a mirror to where we are energetically stagnant, and contracted through symptoms and disease. And that goes both for physical and energetic bodies. When we talk about energetic, we talk about our emotions, and we're going to talk about that later. Let's use an example of gut and eczema, because a lot of people nowadays are dealing with this condition. It's a combination of environmental, such as allergens, hormones, foods, irritants, microbes, everything that is happening in your gut through toxins, heavy metals, parasites, bacteria, and deficiencies, and emotional factors. So from physiological point of view, eczema is correlated to poorly functioning gut. A healthy gut serves as a barrier to prevent undigested food particles and toxins to enter the bloodstream. But when an intestinal wall is damaged, hello, what we need here, L-glutamine, is the supplement that everybody who has an intestinal wall damaged, this is how we repair it, digestive enzymes, probiotics. It allows bad substances to leak into the body and shows up as inflammation on the skin, right? In herbal medicine, it's believed that the skin is a messaging system for the rest of the body. When something is wrong, your body sends a signal via your skin to let you know. From spiritual point of view, eczema comes to people who are afraid of being hurt and do their best to please others. They lack the courage of being themselves, and their behavior is dictated by what others say. This causes a sense of self-rejection because they don't accept their own attitude. It's like not accepting your own skin, and it's bursting. And that goes down to every single condition, as every organ of our bodies associated with a different emotion. We're going to talk about that later. So 5 indicators we need a cleanse, that we need to repair this body. It's an indicator that something is off and we need to look into this. Food cravings, right? When you find yourself craving anything, that you're really craving for is nourishment because the body is out of balance or you have parasites. When you get cravings for low vibrational foods such as bread, pasta, dairy, sugar, or alcohol, you are being hijacked by these microorganisms. Parasites are more active over the full moons. They each have their own appetites. Yeast craves sugar. Some other ones crave fat. Some other ones carbs. And some other ones fiber. They each have their own method of asking for their favorite meal, using variations of techniques to trick you through thoughts, emotions, and obsessions. So, for example, when you taste something that is bitter, it's not you not liking the bitter. It's the parasite that doesn't like the bitter and controls every action that your body does because you've been hijacked. And parasites is the biggest, how to say that, entity that they rolled out based on an agenda to hijack people's consciousness. Imagine, it's not you talking. It's not even you thinking of these things. It's not even you feeling these things. They love sensations. When somebody's grinding their teeth at night, it's because they're full of parasites. And I highly recommend you to watch this documentary that goes into great detail about parasites because it really explains what it means to have entities within your body. So your body is becoming a host for them to survive. They're manipulating you. A healthy body that only asking for nourishment, it's coming from the hunger of nourishment. There are 3 types of hunger. There is the mind hunger, the cravings that you cannot control yourself, overeating refined sugars and gluten and dairy and all these things that parasites get fed of, and also control your emotions. They love sensations. So if you are dysregulated and you have an emotion of sadness, you're going to experience sadness 100% more than usually you do in a coherent space where you can know how to ground and control yourself. So, Lucas, if it's possible, uh, because I cannot share with you through here, you click on that. Lucas, are you still here? Oh, great. So Lucas has already here shared with us the link that I have down here. Please do go and watch this YouTube video. It actually got created in 2019, just before the agenda around COVID blasted out in the world, just to see what it means to be hijacked by parasites. It's not you talking, it's not you thinking, it's not you feeling. As all these entities within your body is super, super important, especially for those who are doing the spiritual world and the self-growth and self-development, and they cannot see progress in their journey, is because you need to incorporate your body into the mix, and you start from the parasites. Thank you, Lucas. Bloating and gas, unhealthy lifestyle, severe infection, changes in bacteria in the gut, inflammation in the intestines, overly sensitive colon, hello, colitis, poorly coordinated signals between the brain and the intestines, and of course, the food you eat, and increasing your level of stress, hormonal changes that accompany with menstrual cycle. Okay, how many women live with bloating for many, many, many years? This is not the natural state of the body. This is an indicator. This is the body talking. I am facing an imbalance. Please take care of me. Brain fog. There is an axis that connects the gut with the brain. If your gut is processing food all day long, then there is no space for thinking. Yeast infection, candida and fungi. Candida is a yeast and becomes a serious problem when it's not balanced by friendly bacteria. When this is not treated, it takes over the digestive tract. Wonders somebody why they have digestive issues. But it also becomes an aggressive fungus. If not treated, people often develop sensitivities to milk products, wheat, and yeast, as well and to chronic fatigue. So all of a sudden, people now have intolerances in foods and allergies. No, 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 no. This does not even exist. An allergy or an intolerance does not exist even as a concept. The microbiome of your stomach, the vibrational frequency of your cells have been altered enough, and the food is not having a resonance with the imbalanced gut microbiome of your body. That is what's happening. So once you start repairing the microbiome and you're starving and you cleanse candida and fungus, all of a sudden you are able to eat these foods again, even though eat dairy and refined sugar is an absolutely no, because there are chemicals like poison to the body. Still, if you have it once a year or once 6 months, you're not going to have any problems with your stomach. The body will digest it. Trouble sleeping, fatigue, and exhaustion. Fatigue is a natural result of lifestyle choices, such as build of metabolic waste, toxins, blockages, deficiencies, and swollen colon. Swollen colon is colitis, right? I was diagnosed with colitis, and it's an autoimmune disease that people live for the rest of their lives. And I healed it in 2 months, because when you know what has manifested in your physical body and you know how to look for the root causes, you know what to do to change these processes. For example, for me, it wasn't so much on the physical body, it was more of the emotional body, because I had a very traumatic experience in my life where, through intimate relationship, my boundaries were crossed. And as a result, the organ that is associated with this particular abuse is the colon. So the colon is going to start getting inflamed and imbalanced, because it's not just only what we're putting inside of the body. We have also the energetic body. The energetic body, everything starts from the energetic body, right? Everything starts from the energetic body. And the psyche has no other way to communicate with us besides manifesting it in the physical body So it tells us, hey, look at this emotion, look at this suppression, because I don't have any other way to communicate with you. So colitis and colon is associated with this crossing boundaries in intimate relationship. It's in your root chakra. So when you manifest a condition in your body, you're like, okay, I know where to look at now. I really need to do my emotional work. So I release this traumatic experience from my body. So my colon comes back to normal. Simple, healed in 2 months. Right? So I would like to tap into a little bit the toxins, free radicals, and heavy metals, just that because these are the ones that also creating as a root causes other problems. So what is metabolic waste, right? The last 100 to 200 years have been catalysts for us. On one, because the agenda started running in this world in this way that it started running in this life, like this thousands of years of operating. So cells and DNA have not yet been able to adapt. Okay, there's a chat here. Okay. See you. Thank you for coming. Cells and DNA have not yet been able to adapt this new velocity of food. So imagine the human body exists for 300,000 years, right? The last 100 and 200 years is just a blink of an eye, right? Think about it. It's a blink of an eye. The last 100, 150 years, it's a blink of an eye. So the DNA in the cells have not still been adapted to this new velocity of food and toxins that we're putting into our bodies. They don't have the time to excrete. As a result, toxins and metabolic waste built up faster and being eliminated, disrupting the cell's capacity to do the job. And the initial stages of many chronic diseases begin, right? Body discomfort, muscle pain, sleep disorders like insomnia, sleep apnea, persistent fatigue, and so on. So the metabolic waste is the cell works every single day to do its job, and it's producing a waste. This waste needs to come out of your system. How does it come out of your system? It binds with certain elements, and you pee it in the morning pee. What are these elements that bind with the metabolic waste that the cells are producing on a daily basis? Minerals. And where do we find minerals? In the water. So imagine if you're drinking water that has no minerals and it's dead, the minerals are there to detoxify your body on a daily basis and remove the metabolic waste out of your body. If you're not drinking minerals, where does this metabolic waste go? Nowhere. It just stays and builds up around the cells. And when that builds up, it's become a lot, the cell starting being altered in the way of a frequency. It's not firing all the information that it should be firing from to start making all these operations that the body needs to do. And here is how the chronic inflammation starting creating what all these different symptoms, conditions, and diseases that are getting manifested in the body. So lack of minerals, cleansing, detoxing regularly to make sure that you excreting this metabolic waste that is gathered around your cells. A lot of magnesium, the king of all minerals. You see, you go to the supermarket and you want to buy alkaline bottled water, and you turn around in the ingredients and you see main ingredient bicarbonate soda. So take now vinegar, which is your acids in your stomach. Take vinegar in a glass of water and put bicarbonate soda on top. What is going to happen? It's going to start becoming foamy, right? So this manipulated industry of water has even manipulated to sell you alkaline water, pay $5 per bottle, to sell you bicarbonate soda because that's the only way for them to raise the pH in an inexpensive way. Because magnesium is very, very expensive for them to put it in the water to raise the pH and make it alkaline. Be smart, have knowledge, and understand all these processes. Free radicals, we talk about it. Is your atom here a stable, healthy atom? And here is an atom that is missing an electron. How do they miss an electron? Physical tangibility of it, which is what we're putting inside of our bodies, and our behavior on a conscious level, that also making the electron to break away from your atom. More free radicals in the body, more receiving consciousness, whether you like it or not. Those electrons is your electricity, right? When we step barefoot on the ground, we exchange with the earth electrons, right? So if you're positive, the earth is gonna come and stabilize you. But obviously it's not enough when you have already walked 10 meters into the forest, right? So the earth knows how to do that in a body that is natural, healthy, in a 7 pH homeostasis and above. So you feel unbalanced, you go back and nature is balancing out. When you have already walked into the forest, you have to do other things as well to stabilize your atoms, right? So the most four harmful chemicals that are causing oxidative stress on the tangibility, physicality of matter is refined sugar, seeds oils, fluoride, heavy metals, and vaccines. So now, welcome veganism and feminism, right? And I'm a strong believer that both run under an agenda to deplete the women's bodies, the portal of creation, right? We're not the same as men. Our feminine bodies are not operating the same as the male body. We have different hormones, we have different organs within our bodies, different cycles, different ways of eating, different ways of exercising. Feminism, I believe, to my opinion, it was also part of the agenda for women to stand up for the rights, to become equal with for men, and actually to become more sick, right? Or to be equal. Doesn't mean that we don't work to get paid equal, but everything else that was rolled out, it was part of the agenda. The same with veganism. There is a spiritual aspect around veganism, and the abuse of animals, the abuse of eating bad meat has a problem, right? When you slaughter an animal, the emotion of fear is present on the energetic part of the meat that you eat. So you're infusing your body with fear, right? This is the spiritual aspect of not eating meat and obviously caring for the animals. But at the same time, in a healthy cycle of nature, since ancient years, our ancestors were eating meat in a healthy way. They were going into hunting, they were coming back, they were eating vegetables that are coming from the earth, they were eating fruits that are coming from the earth, and they also were eating the meat, right? Nowadays, we have refined sugar, seed oils, fluoride and heavy metals, and vaccines. This is not nature. This is not what nature provides. So I'm just making a question and I'm putting out there in the field of awareness for everybody. What do you think is better? To avoid eat meat and continue eating this, or to start eating more healthy, understanding the natural way of cycling around nutrition and remove the poison from your body? I'm making that question for you to contemplate on. This is all cancer, right? And in my program, I do support people eating meat and vegetables in a way that we're biohacking the system. I will explain what biohacking is. The ones who are still eating meat, I support it and I respect it, and we find alternatives. But this is purely my honest opinion around it. Veganism, the same, right? Our reproductive system gets depleted on selenium, B12s, and B7 and B6, iodine, and iron that is beneficial for our hormones and thyroid, right? PMS. Hello, PMS. Hello, irregular menstrual cycles. Hello, infertility, right? This veganism is also, to my opinion, part of a whole agenda that is being rolled out in this world. Here, what is causing oxidative stress in the body? Missing electrons, like losing electrons. Bottled water, tap water, soda. Fizzy drinks, stay away from fizzy drinks. Coca-Cola, but also stay away from sparkling water. The fizzy drinks has plus 400 oxidative reduction potential. This is the measurement to measure how much this drink will make you lose electrons. Soda and sparkling water is plus 400 as an oxidative stress in your body. Oxidative potential reduction, that's how we call it. Please stop drinking soda and sparkling water. You're creating this effect to your body, more free radicals. What is minus is we're reducing the oxidative stress. That's what it means. It lowers the oxidative stress. So these agents are called minus oxidative potential reduction. Vitamin C, green tea, cod liver, or kangen water. I will explain what is kangen water. I'm supportive, but we need to know how to drink it. Heavy metals, most dangerous heavy metals: mercury, lead, chromium, cadmium, arsenic. Heavy metals also found in cosmetics. Every single bioresonance scan I do to my people who work with me, they are full of heavy metals. And heavy metals are the root cause of any kidney dysfunctions and gastrointestinal imbalances, nervous system disorders, hello anxiety, hello nervousness, skin conditions, vascular damage, immune system dysfunction, birth defects, and cancer. So to reduce heavy metals from your body, there are different detox protocols. We have that in the program. I swear by TRS Advance. So sorry, I need to go. Bye, Georgina. See you soon. TRS Advance. I swear by this product. I can give you a link. Reach out to me on my Instagram. Zeolite is a binder, chlorella, moringa, and there is a detox mix that I also provide to my people that they drink every day to remove the heavy metals. A holistic approach into wellness. That's what we do in order to repair this body, to bring it back to its natural state. It's not just one thing. One parasite cleanse will not do anything. A little bit of a candida diet is not gonna heal you from the root. This is the reason why you see people now in a scattered way going in different directions, grabbing themselves from different healing modalities without knowing how to put them in the right order as pieces of the puzzle in a holistic way. Otherwise, healing is not going to happen because we have been affected big time in many different ways, in many different layers. So we have the physical cleanse, we have the emotional cleanse, and the spiritual cleanse. And even though back in the days, ancient Greek people, they were talking about catharsis, purification, and they were focusing on the emotional cleanse, which is through art and theater to go through this different emotional navigating the entire spectrum of emotions from sadness to happiness and so on. And so you know how to to move those emotions through your heart and transmute them to higher state of frequencies. Now we're using cleanses for all three bodies, right? And we're doing it with minerals, vitamins, detox protocols, drainage practices, liver detox juices, detox techniques, EMF protectors. So on the physical cleanse, it's not just the parasite cleanse. It's a lot of different things that we put together in the right order. Remember, nature works in order, and so do our healing journey. So you need to know how to put these things in the right order for the journey to be successful. I keep saying this on my Instagram. For example, parasites and candida attacks on heavy metals. If you don't cleanse heavy metals, you're not gonna successfully cleanse candida and parasites, right? So parasites are stealing nutrients like iron and iodine. All of a sudden, women are deficient and those affecting the hormones, thyroid problems. And then the more affected hormones, you have more candida. So we really need to understand how to put the pieces together in the right order for the cleanse to be successful. I keep saying this and I repeat myself in calls, workshops, Instagram, everywhere. Then we have the emotional cleanse. This is where also water fasting comes in place. And also, so here is biohacking. Here is biohacking and water fasting. And here is water fasting. So that's how I combine biohacking and water fasting to achieve nowadays, since our bodies are so deficient in physical, emotional, and spiritual cleanse. How do we do that? First, oops, first step is a bioresonance scan. What is a bioresonance scan? When I was sick 10 years ago and I had the cancerous breast cyst and the tinnitus, I was going to every doctor and they were telling, oh, your blood work is good, your hormones are good, you everything perfect, it's just stress or things like that. And so I discovered in my research and studying how to heal myself by resonance. By resonance is it measures the frequency of energy wavelengths coming from the body and reports back all the imbalances found in the body. It shows you priority for the like the onion layers. So it's not blood work, it's going to show you that you have high cholesterol, right? But the cholesterol is an effect, it's not the root cause. So we need to go deeper and see what is the root cause that we have raised cholesterol, right? So the bioresonance, it's a frequency. Everything in this universe works with sound, right? And with frequency. Your electricity, the electrons in your body, it's your electricity, it's your frequency. So it's going to scan through your voice the entire system and it's going to find resonance in the software with things that are low or excess in your body. So your evaluation of the organs, food intolerances, mineral and vitamin deficiencies, it finds all this. Allergic sensitivities, hormonal imbalances, heavy metals and toxins, candida, fungus and molds, parasites, emotional and psychological suppression. It even spits out the emotions that are present in your body that are blocking your healing. It looks like this. It has this sound that scans the body. And then you see here is the report. It has parasites, molds, um, candida, hormones, viruses, and this is the program. This is my name up here. This is the frequencies that is, it has all these different emotions that you can broadcast frequencies to your body to speed up the healing process. I have used it for my own healing journey. That's how, this is a fractal. You're taking the fractal as an imprint to your water, as the water is picking up the vibrational frequency of its surroundings. Anyway, this is how the program works. And this is what I've been using all these years to identify the imbalances in my body. And that's how I started 10 years ago when I was trying to heal my tinnitus and the cancerous breast cyst to find actually the root causes through this system. Step two, what is biohacking? Almost any tactic could be considered biohacking if our goal is to enhancing our biology in some way. Biohacking is a term used to describe various tips and tricks for enhancing the body's ability to function at peak performance, right? What needs to be added back into your body? So the so-called deficiencies, minerals, vitamins, antioxidants. What needs to be excreted from your body? The so-called toxins, heavy metals, parasites, fungus, candida, what foods to eat, when and in which order, embracing our cycle and working according to our nature. The 7 actionable hacks that we'll start doing immediately when we go into the program of restoring the human body is to understand nutrition, to get your supplements, your detox practices and protocols, movement, awareness, flow, and gratitude. This is a lifestyle change, right? This is what biohacking is. We're changing entirely our lifestyles back to simplicity, back to its natural state, and moving away from the agenda, moving away from what has imposed onto us. Note, let's focus a little bit on our gut for the sake of biohacking to see just an example, okay? Factors like diet, medication, antibiotics, and stress can shift and shape the microbiome in your gut. When given the right resources, probiotics, and a healthy diet, it can recover and flourish. Your skin mirrors your internal health. Flare ups like acne or eczema could point to a gut imbalance. What damages the gut? Unhealthy diets, not enough fiber can inflame your intestines. Hello, bloating. Snacking non-stop doesn't give a break to rest. You need 2 hours after eating to complete your digestion process. Antibiotics and chemicals. Chronic stress leads to IBS. Infections, parasites damage your gut lining. Gluten, lactose triggers inflammation that can lead to Crohn's celiac colitis. Sugar is the food for bacteria. Pesticides, glyphosate, and phthalates. High fructose corn syrup, sugar substitutes like, come on now, come on guys, sugar substitutes. Stay away. Seed oils, corn, canola, sunflower, rice bran, all these oils that restaurants are cooking with, please stay away, right? Perfume, lotions, makeup, deodorant, shampoo, shower curtains, food packaging, all these things affecting your gut. This is the lifestyle change. And it starts with you to take action. Some people come to me and they'll go all the way in and they see results, and some other people don't go all the way in and they don't see results. It's simple as that in a very simple language. Like tips to support your gut. Cutting down on sugar can starve out the bad bacteria in your gut. Hydration is essential. Um, it helps everything moving smoothly. Detox protocols for pathogens to reduce inflammation. Probiotics, digestive enzymes, and L-glutamine, especially for repairing the lining here. Plus fermented foods like kimchi and sauerkraut, and polyphenol-rich foods like berries and flax seeds. Apple cider vinegar can be game changer for stomach acid because of the way it boosts digestion before every meal. Only organic produce, chew your calories instead of drinking them, no fruit smoothies with honey. This is what is destroying us. All these smoothies with honey, drinking our calories instead of chewing our nutrients. Tips. This is just an indication here of a few tips of how we biohacking the system and especially through the product program. So how to balance cortisol levels and lose weight that has been built up because of cortisol. Mix together magnesium, ashwagandha, turmeric, vitamin D. This is a biohack. Did you know that if you have an intense reaction when you eat something bitter, it's the parasite disliking and not you? Clear out parasites and let's see if you're still not liking the bitter. Did you know that in order to regulate your hormones, you never eat glucose in the morning? Guys, stop eating fruits first thing in the morning. You are set up for glucose spikes. You are set up for hormonal imbalances, right? Also, oats. Stop eating oats in the morning, creating so much mucus in your colon. And if you have never done a colon, you have never cleansed your colon, this is where everything starts. Eat your food in the right order, starting with fiber, rich vegetables, protein, and fat with this order. Condense everything you eat to 3 meals a day. Limit your eating window. This is a consistency. This is a lifestyle change around dieting. So I just put it for the sake of this presentation, a few tips to see how we're changing all these things while we start repairing the body. Glucose spikes lead to hormone imbalances, saggy skin, cellulite, bloating, fatigue, general bleediness, more cravings, and gut issues. And years of glucose spikes lead to disease. Eat leafy greens before any food with glucose. This is the tip that I say to everybody. Do you want to have a dessert? Preferable with no refined sugar, but something that is organic? Go ahead and have it. Before you get your dessert, chew some greeny leaves. And they're gonna be as a buffer to your insulin resistance. This is a biohacking tip. This is a hack, right? Glucose spikes stop starting your day with fruits. This is a rule. This is a rule of thumb. Like things like PMS, hormonal acne, weight gain or loss, intense cravings, mood swings, irritability, thinning hair, premature wrinkles, energy crisis, bloating, water retention, blah, blah, blah. You see here. These are common nowadays, but are not normal. People are shocked when they see me and I say I'm 39 years old. Do you know why? Because I know how to take care of this. And I know the hacks. And I understand nutrition and detoxification. So when I'm not experiencing this and the body is in vitality, it will show on your face, it will show on your skin. So let's normalize that the way I look, which is almost 10 years younger, is the norm for people at late 30s and late 40s. As simple as that. Step 3. This is where we combine the protocol with water fasting, right? For those who don't know what water fasting is, the person completely abstains from food and consumes only water, not any water, usually for 1 to 3 days, which is the usual length of time for a safe fast. Others may fast for 12 hours, others extend the fast for a week. But from the prevailing time in the program I have is 3 days, and this is enough. Anything else besides 3 days is an ego-driven response to have another tick in your achieving goal, an ego identity response to the you can make it. You can prove to yourself that you're resilient enough to do 2 weeks water fasting without even knowing what you're doing to your body, depleting it even more, creating more problems to your liver if you don't know how to properly do even 3 days water fast. So fasting itself back in the day, since in Greece, they're using it for emotional release, for cathartic experience through releasing suppressed emotions and finding clarity, coming closer to your soul, to your spirit, to your intuition. Nowadays, we're also using water fasting for the processes of autophagy and other things that it's doing in the body, right? It's kicking in ketosis and fat burning. Just to point out here, when a baby is born, is burning ketosis, it's not burning glucose, right? Ketosis is the most healing process of burning fat, burning energy, fuel in the body. Most healing. The moment a baby is being introduced to food besides breast milk, it switches to glucose. And then the human body is, for the rest of its life, on glucose. An alternation between ketosis and glucose is very healing to the body because this is a state of reparation. And this is a state where you hit 24 hours after you sat down your digestion on a water fasting only. This is not happening on a juice fasting because your digestion is still going on. Other processes of water fasting, autophagy, we're going to spend some time to talk about it. Growth hormone rise is regulating your hormones, is regulating your insulin. Insulin level renormalization, it brings your blood sugar down. Immune cell regeneration. What happens? This is happening as a result of the autophagy. So water fasting on the physical is purifying, restoring, and resetting the body back to balance, healing conditions, diseases, balancing the metabolism, weight reduction. This is a bonus. We're not fasting for weight reduction, right? This is a false intention. We're fasting to understand the process of the body. It comes from a place of self-love to bring the body back to balance. And as a bonus, we might lose a little bit of weight. The weight we're losing is not actually muscle weight. What we're losing here is the excess of dirt and toxins and inflammation that the body has been holding on for a long time. Energetic, build communication with our bodies, understanding symptoms, boosting immune system and lymphatic pathways, increasing the alkalinity of the body. Right? How important to come closer to this body to understand its language, to release emotions, to understand how moving the inner waters, you can move those emotions and release them, bring them up on the surface, feel them, and then have this let go experience, right? In every somatic work, they teach that. Release of emotions, bring them up on the surface to see them. Water fasting, it's fast track into shadow work. If you stay present in the process, there is no way you're not going to find out all these things that you have as attachments, as things that you're holding on to. You have your own identity that you built up over the years to function in this world. All this is going to come up on the surface. And then you're going to see little by little who you truly are. And this is where you have the spiritual. It's deep emotional release, strengthening willpower, forces gratitude and humility, calming the mind, and improving decision making, attaining a state of inner balance and harmony, heightening spiritual awareness. This is not just some words that we just spit it out there as topics for water fasting. It's like clearing out the weed in front of you, and it feels like waking up from a dream. When you're bringing the physical body back to its natural state, and you finally tap into the spiritual aspects of water fasting that ancient Greeks used to do as a practice, this is where you started experience expansion of consciousness. Remember what we said earlier? The water has the strongest covalent bond, and if the atoms of your being not losing electrons, then you are not sharing consciousness. Isn't it this that everybody is trying to do nowadays with self-development, self-growth to become better people, right? This is what fasting is going to get you to. It's going to go straight into shadow work. It's going to bring everything up on the surface, and then you're going to shine up for this work. This is the real meaning of fasting, right? A little bit here, we have the fasting lane. 4 to 8 hours, 12 hours, 16 hours, 18 hours, 24 hours is where this autophagy begins to happen once the digestion is set and we're switching from glucose to ketones, right? And are released into the bloodstream. This autophagy process picks up 300% increase on the 36 hour, increases another 30% another 48 hour, and by 72nd hour is already on a plateau. This is the reason why 3 days is more than enough. The rest is an ego response. Unless you have an autoimmune, unless you have cancer, then yes, this journey is going to take longer. So we're able to repair the damaged cells through the process of autophagy. What is autophagy? First of all, it comes from the ancient Greek word that means autophagia. Auto means self and phagy means eating. Pretty much that means self-eating. And what it does, after 24 hours of water fasting, the digestion stops. Your body is starting to switch from glucose to ketosis as a burning energy, like we said. And autophagy and some other processes are kicking in. Autophagy process simply scans the cells of the body and identifies the zombie ones, the damaged ones, the ones that hold the memory of the condition or the disease. And it starts consuming everything it can that is essential to bodily function. This part here, that hold the memory of the condition or the disease, what does that even mean? So out of the cell, as it builds up in the tangibility of the cell, toxins and mucus and heavy metals, this is the tangible part of the cell. As this gets blocked up, around the cells, the energetic frequency is also getting altered. The more suppressed emotions, what is a suppressed emotion? It's a blockage of energetic flow. And that blockage has altered the vibrational frequency around the cell. So when we have a disease around that particular organ, it's a combination of the memory of the suppressed emotion that has altered the vibrational frequency around the cell and the tangibility of the cell, which is metabolic waste, it could be toxins, it could be heavy metals, whatever is there. So the body itself identifies those cells that have been altered enough, damaged enough, zombie ones, and eats them for energy. It's a self-eating process. It's a clean out. It's the body's intelligent response and self-healing mechanism to generate more energy and cleaning out dysfunctional and damaged cells and recycle them in order to generate newer, healthier cells. This process peaks on the 48th hour, like we said, and finishes on the 72nd hour. What is the reason to do more than 3 days? No reason. You have completed the most incredible process that water fasting can give you to your body, right? So it's better to do more frequent, like we have in the program, every month for 3 consecutive months, rather than do prolonging ones and put more stressors to the body. Why water is healing? Let's move into that. Let me check the time. Okay, we are 1.5, about 20 more minutes, and we're done. Why water is healing? Let's jump back into this more tangible and spiritual aspects of water, and we're going to finish up with the fasting journey itself as more facts. Did you know that the water is supposed to be alive? Unfortunately, most of the water people are drinking is actually dead. Hello, missing minerals. That in order for you, for your body to detoxify on a daily basis, when you go to bed, you need to drink water and minerals, right? Otherwise, you're not detoxifying. This is why the water is medicine. Next time you use these 3 words to share with somebody or your social media that water is medicine, know that water is medicine because water is rich in minerals, and those minerals detoxify your body on a daily basis. One of the many processes. That in order for the water molecules to reach on a cellular level, you need minerals in the water. So one cell to communicate with another cell, especially neurons in your brain, they communicate through a pathway that it is being through a form of water in a gel form. So they firing electric signals between neurons through water. But if minerals are not in the water, that electric signal cannot happen because the minerals are the ones that helping that electric signal to fire from one to another. So if it's not there, hello brain fog, hello Alzheimer, hello Parkinson, hello many neurological conditions. But our pineal gland is our #1 way of tapping into our intuition, and that the fluoride in our water calcifies our pineal gland. So it makes it dull and it's not connected to your intuition, it's not connected to the divine anymore. So that was the way to make entire humanity asleep. The agenda that has been running in this world ran for many years since they started putting fluoride in every single household around the world. They knew what to do. They knew exactly how to disconnect us from our intuition. They put fluoride in every single household to calcify our pineal gland, targeting children, targeting everyone in this world. They know what to do. They know how this body works, and they know how to do it very well. So that 75% of population is currently dehydrated, causing chronic inflammation that leads to disease. Of course, no minerals, no detoxification, no hydration on a cellular level, calcifies your pineal gland. Great. You see what you see nowadays. So what is alkaline water? I've already said these things. A lot of people, another question I say to people, most of my workshops, what is alkaline water? And actually, I don't get an answer back. They say, oh, it's raised pH. Great, it's a raised pH water, but how it gets raised? What is that? So when we say alkaline water, it's a water rich in minerals, right? Structure spring water is a water that comes from the earth, picking up on its way all these minerals, minerals that help to detoxify the body, minerals that help to transfer water molecules on cellular level, and they act as acidic agents in the body and the blood to protect us from diseases. They neutralize those acid agents. Do you remember back in that scale with oxidative reduction potential where sparkling water was plus 400 as an agent to destroy our atoms? Well, minerals in the water neutralize these acidic agents, right? But our waters are dead. They're not having minerals. All the alkaline water that is being sold in supermarkets is bicarbonate soda. It's not even a mineral. And this is the power of minerals, every single of them. There's so many different minerals. This is just four of them, with the king to be magnesium, right? Most of the people that I work with and we do a bioresonance scan, they're deficient in basic minerals such as magnesium, zinc, iodine, and iron. The majority, 80% of the people. Then let's all question why we have gut problems and bloating and constipation and all these things. Constipation. So the water, what happens in the minerals, how the colon moves, the poop, it has these palpitations, which obviously you don't feel them, and it removes the water. It removes the water so the poop becomes solid, right? But if you're not drinking enough water, this process does not work properly. Constipation. Okay. And this is the pH scale for the water. You see here the alkaline agents. Oops. And here you see their acidic agents. Does this remind you something? I really like to correlate things that we see. Here is the neutral. This is the 7 pH homeostasis, where every human body should be. And as we move on towards that raised pH as an overall in the body, we have vitality. Survival is just here. Okay. I like to say that here is our heart, and this is the root chakra. Do you see the colors? So here is our heart. This is the lower frequency, lower vibrational frequency motions. And then here is the heart where we alchemize them and we move to higher vibrational frequencies, joy, happiness. Right here is sadness, grief, both all welcomed in our human experience. Our role here is not to suppress this one. Our role here is to know how to feel them, to embrace them and welcome them because it's our human experience. And once we feel them, to alchemize them through our heart and move towards higher states of emotions. And you see the pH scale of the water? We are water. We are water beings as much as human beings. It's the same colors. It's 7 pHs here. Positive agents that bring vitality in our bodies, and negative agents that bring survival and conditions and diseases in our bodies. More sadness, more grief, more suppression that you cannot let go. It will cause the electrons of your atom to break away, conditions and diseases to manifest in your body. All right. I like sharing that. Here is what your water is traveling from, all the pipes in the pipe water. We talk about that, all the fluoride, bottled water, biggest scam industry in the world is just simple tap water with microplastics and bicarbonate soda to just raise a little bit the pH. Please, next time you are in a supermarket, go and check the water bottles, the ingredients, and see the pH. It's below 7. So actually, even the water bottle that you drink as water, like any, even tap water or supermarket, is 6.8, 6.2, 5.8. This is here. This is here. You're not updating your operating system. You're not updating your inner waters with covalent bonds. You prolong your disease. Simple as that. Your water is the number one element that will big time progress you in your healing journey. Okay, can alkaline water change the alkalinity of the body? It's another myth here. I can hear that a lot. No, it's a myth. Alkaline, it means that the pH of the water is greater than pH, but the alkalinity of the body is a state of being, or the degree to which a thing is alkaline, homeostasis or above. For example, your gut is 2.3 acidic, right? It's not alkaline, but your blood is 7.3. So it says that if you're drinking alkaline water with mineral 7 pH and above, then you're increasing the alkalinity of your body, right? By keeping it hydrated on a cellular level, right? It's not therefore it's going to change every part of your body on a 7 pH, because this does not exist, right? Your stomach is 1.5 to 2.5 and your blood is 7.3. That will always stay to that as long as you drink alkaline water. If you don't drink alkaline water, these two will change to the worse. And then you see a list of different waters, and when you watch the recording, you can stop and you can pause the video and just you can go through that. I'm going to skip it, same here. And the hidden consciousness of water, I'm going to move on now to more spiritual stuff. Okay, what is the time? Great. Bye, Lily. Oops. This was the tangibility of the water, right? The minerals, what they're doing in the body, how they're helping our healing. Now let's tap into actually the secrets, the consciousness, like what water does as a spirit, right? So here is the tangibility. Contrary to common knowledge, the quality of water isn't just restricted to its mineral content, pH, and purity. Did you know that the water has property where it absorbs and responds to both positive and negative energy? What does that mean, right? Hidden consciousness of water. It's an ultimate receiver and carrier of information. That's the reason why what you are 99.9 water molecules, because you receive and you give information. You interact with your environment, either with nature, either with a dog, either with a friend, either through your thoughts and your emotions. All these processes happen through the water. The water is the one that receives and gives the information. And that's the reason why 99 water, that's where your consciousness resides. One drop can store many types of information. I will explain that a little bit later. Human emotions can change water. This is the biggest part that we start talking at the beginning of the workshop, where our behavior and our emotions can change the water. You are water, can change the atoms of your being. That's what it means, right? Water has memory on a molecular level because it receives and carries information, and water is coherent, it has a structure. So your brain is 95 water. It's like explained, neurons absorb and release water as a way of communication with each other, and they transmit electrical signals through water. Observing nature, we can see that all ecosystems are connected by water. Water acts as the ultimate neurotransmitter between all parts of the natural world. Water is a medium of universal consciousness. Hear this now. A unit of computer memory or data storage capacity equals of 1024 gigabytes. A single drop of water can store many terabytes of information. It is not a coincidence that nowadays computer programs, computer companies, they're changing the inner memory disks to disks that contain gel of water, because that memory is unlimited. It's not going to be limited to 1024 gigabyte, which is the capacity of the biggest memory of a computer device nowadays. They're replacing it with water because the water can store many terabytes of information. It's unlimited, completely unlimited. So imagine what happens is, like, think about your inner waters as an operating system, because really is an operating system. Your consciousness resides in an operating system run by water. You have a computer and you buy $10 upgrade software, right? And then you buy $100 and somebody else buys $100 updated software. With $10, you're going to get one feature enhanced. With $100 though, you're gonna get many features upgraded on your computer, right? It's the same thing with your inner operating system, your inner operating waters. The water that you drink, the quality will determine what software you run within your body for your consciousness to reside, for your consciousness to operate. Dead water, receiving consciousness, losing electrons. Structured water, sharing consciousness, becoming a better person, detoxifying your body on a daily basis, hydrating your cells, and expanding your consciousness because you are upgrading your inner operating system, your inner waters, with something that is structured, alive, full of minerals, spring water. Massive difference. This is the experiment from Dr. Masaru Emoto, which, she did all these experiments, and there's so many other scientists out there, way more in depth in the research, and unfortunately have not been so popular in the names. But what Dr. Masaru Emoto did, he conducted all these experiments with water molecules, proving that intention, words, thoughts, and emotions, look at that, not something that you put in your body as food or chemicals, but your own intention, words, thoughts, and emotions, your energetic part of your entire being, directed at water produce aesthetically pleasing physical molecular formations in the water, while water exposed to fearful human intentions results in disconnected and unpleasant physical molecular formation. Does this remind you something in the beginning of this webinar? The Babylon effect with atoms and electrons, atoms losing electrons because of your behavior, because of your consciousness. Yes, your behavior, which means your intentions, your words, your thoughts, and your emotions, will affect the atoms of your being. The atoms of your being are water. And so these intentions, words, thoughts, and emotions will be imprinted in their own language. It's not English, it's not French. It's their own language that the universe speaks to different geometrical formations. This is peace. This is thank you. This is after prayer. And look, this is I will kill you. If I say I will kill you, I'm affecting my inner waters. The atoms of my being are getting imbalance. I am on receiving consciousness, stealing, not caring about one another. Water has memory on a molecular level. So that's an experiment from Vera Austin. For whoever does not follow her on Instagram, please go ahead and do. She has so many experiments, but I found this quite interesting and funny. She has thousands and thousands, but that was from a workshop that I attended probably 5 years ago or something like that. And so here in this image, these Petri discs, the rounded Petri discs that you put under the microscope, she has this technique where she takes structured water and she puts it in the freezer. And before she put it in the freezer, she put it on top of her heart, thinking on the water, putting through emotions, writing a piece of paper with a word on top and placing the Petri disc on top for a few seconds for the water to pick up the vibrational frequency of that particular thing that happens, and then puts it in the freezer to have this formation, to get it in a state of like this, because you can't see the liquid. Only when the water is getting frozen and you put it under the microscope, you can see the formations. That's the reason why she is freezing it, right? So she can hold the Petri disc and in her heart, for example, and think of, I don't know, love. And then she can put it as, like ego, like an ego-driven thought. And then, for example, she did this experiment and the frozen water came back with this picture. So the word is, she put a piece of paper with the word ego on it, right? It's not a word, but just as a specific image. This is one of the reasons she used it. It's as if this idea of a giant self seems to have passed through the ethers into the water's understanding of humans. So she put the piece of the word ego, and the water picked up the vibrational frequency of the ego and represented it on a frozen state as this big-headed. We all know what ego represents, right? This big-headed of mind state instead of heart state. And then here another experiment which I find really funny. She put it the word trust, and the water came back with the waves and a person surfing on the waves. And then this is even funnier. She asked a friend to put petri discs with water next to her bedside table, one for her and one for her husband. And they had them next to the bedside tables to record the dreams. And they ended up being intimate and making love that night. And then they put their petri discs in the freezer. And a few minutes later, they took them out. As you can see, the woman's petri disc represents a vagina. It showed in the crystallography a vagina. And the man's petri disc in the crystallography showed a penis ejaculating. The water is able to pick up the vibrational frequency of everything around it, from thoughts, intentions, words, everything. It's a frequency. That's the reason why by resonance, the scans that we do, it's so on point, because it reads frequency. It has a big variable, where the blood work has only 80% variable to be accurate. So water is coherent, it has structure, individual water molecules and linked by these hydrogen bonds and form what we call clusters. A lot of molecules together form a cluster. Each molecule has a pattern resonance frequency, right? This hexagonal water can be received in our bodies on a cellular level and help to energize the water we are made of. The water that we are made of is only hexagonal water. In every cell that we are born, it's hexagonal water. And that's the water that we should be drinking on a daily basis to update our inner waters, our inner operating system, to be on a sharing consciousness. And that's where the, consciousness resides anyway. To restructure your water is with crystals, sacred geometry, and vortexing to actually make it more alive. Let's see the different types of different ways of improving your water. So let's say you have a tap water and it's full of chlorine and fluoride. You need to take these chemicals out. So you need a pre-filtration system, right? Avoid reverse osmosis. It's very harsh on the water, strips out all the minerals, and actually gives you dead water. It's a filtration system that it was very popular in the 60s and the 70s in the US. And it's great for pollutants, it's great for chemicals, for pathogens and all these things, but also removes the minerals. And that's the biggest problem of such a filtration system. It's called reverse osmosis. But nowadays, there are other filtration systems that are way advanced in technology that do not strip the minerals out. So you get your filtration system, you get your chemicals out, and then you have two options. The Kangen water is very different to spring water. And I'm really, really upset and kind of like angry in a way with humanity and how the Kangen distributors are manipulating people for the sake of making money without really knowing deep down knowledge of what the Kangen water does. Kangen water is healing water. Kangen water can get you faster out of a condition and disease, but it's not to drink it in the long term. What it does, it's not structured water. Spring water that you find in springs, it's hexagonal. It's hexagonal water, exactly what you're made of. Spring water is hexagonal water, and this is what you should be drinking half of your time. The other half of the time, if you are healing from something and you want to go back to homeostasis and vitality, you need to drink Kangen water. Kangen water is not structured. The structure of water is H2O. Kangen water is something different. Electricity hits the structure of the water and splits this in two, hydrogen 2 and oxygen. You only drink the hydrogen. So Kangen water is not anymore structured. It has lost its structure, but you're only drinking hydrogen. When hydrogen bonds together, it becomes molecular hydrogen. And what it does to the system, it gives you a lot of antioxidants. What do the antioxidants do? Eat the rainbow is to donate extra electrons to the atoms that have lost electrons. We've been talking about the free radicals for a long time. To decrease the acidity of your body and to move into sharing consciousness. You need to bring more electrons into your body. Fast way to do that is Kangen water. But in the long term, Kangen water on a cellular level gives false signals to the rest of the body. So you cannot really drink Kangen water for the rest of your life. What you can do, and is the best, which I also do, is half the day I drink hydrogen water, and the rest of the day I drink structured water. And I alternate. Sometimes I completely stop drinking Kangen water, and I only drink hexagonal structural water, spring water, right? So you really need to understand this um, topics and deep layers of what Kangen water is, right? Trace mineral drops for the water that doesn't have minerals. Add mineral salt. Sunlight stones. I love this one. This one mimics the minerals and the vibrational frequency of the earth. So when the water gets in touch with the sunlight stones, as the water is picking up the vibrational frequency of its surrounding, it's picking up the frequency of the sunlight stones, and it's cleaning it. It's not going to clean it from parasites. It's not going to clean it from chemicals, but it's going to clean it vibrationally. It's going to make it positively energized water. Okay. Structure your water. We said how to structure your water: crystals, geometry, vortexing, all this. Crystals have their own vibrational frequency. So imagine when you surround your water with crystals, every crystal has its own property. Some of them for healing, some of them for removing negativity, some of them from love. So imagine having the water picking up the vibrational frequency of crystals. What is going to, you restructuring the water. Sacred geometry, the same. Vortexing is when you're steering the water, right? You see these carafes that are now steering the water. It's great. Is restructuring your water. It's not a Kangen to put it back to its, because Kangen cannot be restructured. It has already lost its structure because it's only hydrogen. 3, not 2 anymore. But when you have water and has gone through a filtration system and has gone through a process, and then you want to restructure it, then this is the processes here. Thank you, Lakis. And then sounds and blessings, right? Prayers. The water is listening to you. So whenever possible, avoid any toxic substances like plastics, furan, fluoride, soaps, and water used for healing. Plastic kills the cells of living water, changing the resonance to something very flat and out of harmony. The off-gassing of plastics affect our hormone balance. Fluoride affects brain and sensory functions. Do not carry your water in plastic bottles ever. And then quickly to finish this webinar is to go through the 3-day water fasting journey. Is on a physical, we detoxify on a cellular level through excreting toxins from the physical body. Energetic, releasing emotional blockages from the energetic body. Why over the moon? It's well known that the moon affects the Earth's oceans and rivers with its gravitational pull. However, it's less known that in a similar way, the moon affects the water contained in the human body. We are water. we use this energetic movement of the fluids to our advantage, right? So as the water equals emotions and we're moving the inner waters, we're updating our operating system. It's easier for the fluids to move because on the full moon, the tides, the gravitational pull is stronger. Also, the stem cells renew themselves every 28 days. So imagine you fasting, every moon cycle, we have new stem cells. When autophagy kicks in on a water fasting journey and eats the bad cells, you are left with the good cells. The stem cells come and attach on the good cells, and that's where rejuvenation happens. And that's the reason why we're following the full moons, the moon cycles, because those processes of the stem cells also enhancing the process of rejuvenation. The way we break the fast is extremely important and should be taken very seriously, and extremely important with the way that we enter in the fast. Guys, honestly, the amount of time I've seen people breaking the fast with fruits, it makes me want to pull my hair or maybe hit my head on the wall. What we spoke about that earlier, glucose spikes, right? You like imagine your body is pure like a baby and you go straight to glucose, which is like a drag to the body. And then people starting having insane cravings if you break your fast with fruits. It's not even rocket science, it's just common sense, right? Never with fruits. In the program, we have a particular process of how to break the fast in order for us to minimize any discomfort, such cravings, acid reflux, bloating, gastritis, vomiting, diarrhea, or anything like that. And also to be easier for the body to adjust and be on a healthy homeostasis. And then we have the physical support. We have so many different practices that we do during fasting. It's not just drinking water and wait for the time to pass. Um, and then the energetic body, suppressed emotions. So the same way toxins build up in our physical bodies, emotional toxins build up in our energetic bodies. Like I said, the emotions are messengers. Water fasting will go straight down to shadow work, where all those emotions, where all this suppression, all these attachments are hidden, and it's going to bring them up on the surface. So imagine opening, like having a pot with mud and water, you lifting up the lid and you start stirring the water and you start pouring water like you are the pot with water and mud and you start pouring water into that pot and you're stirring it, right? What is going to come? This mud, it will start coming up on the surface, start coming up on the surface, come up on the surface. And that's how emotions are going to come up on the surface. And whether your conscious mind realizes or not that there is emotions getting released, they do get released because that's the notion of moving the waters, moving the emotions, right? Another very important thing here is how emotions are associated with different diseases and different organs, right? For example, people with heart disease might have had life experiences that led them to block intimacy or love from the lives. People with cancer often have unresolved connections with the past. People with low back pain usually have persisted financial worries. People with blood disorders frequently have conflicts with their families. So, understanding the human energy system isn't mean to self-healing. Understanding how to correlate every condition and disease with this particular energetic emotional suppression, right? And here you see the liver is holding anger, the gallbladder is holding resentment, kidneys fear, lungs sadness. So when you have a problem with your liver, think about the alcoholics. Why they're so angry? Because the liver gets compromised, and the liver is the one that holds the emotion of anger. So you're gonna manifest more anger in life, right? Um, the same with resentment, fear, sadness. So that's how when we fasting, we go deeper. We take the elevator down and we go into these shadow parts of ourselves, right? So there's no way that fasting is not going to bring up those feelings. You know, our primary um, uh, need when we were born, it was like to be loved, to be fed, and to be touched, and how these emotions were handled and taken care of by our parents will determine how we act as human beings in our adult life, and will determine our separation. It will determine the conditions and the diseases that will getting manifest in the physical body. Everything starts in the energetic first. And when it gets blocked up and the prana is not flowing, the psyche has no other way to communicate with us but manifesting in different parts of the body. So if you have heart disease, then there is blocked intimacy and love over the years, plus everything else that we discussed on the physical body, right? Toxins and deficiencies and all these things. It's a combination of both physical and emotional. So water fasting on the energetic, as we go into the shadow work, what happens around the cell, as I explained earlier, there is an altered vibrational frequency, right? So did you know that the outer tissue of the cell holds the vibration of particular frequency of the emotion you have suppressed or trauma? The body stores trauma of our lives on a cellular level, a frozen residue of energy that has not been resolved. This is the reason why somatic work is important. Acupuncture, chiropractic, and fasting to move this frozen residue of energy away, to resolve it, to disconstruct it. Okay, this residue remains trapped in the nervous system, and it can wreak havoc at any given moment. Hello, all these moments where we get emotionally um, charged. And even though we want to act differently, it's not possible. It's because that residue is still frozen within our bodies and has a response. Water fasting will go deep into that frozen residue and wear it off. Through alternating the frequency of the cells, we become lighter and lighter as the water fasting practice is deepening. This is how physical detoxification on a cellular level can help releasing emotional toxins too. They go hand by hand, right? And this is my last slide from this webinar. Anyone can heal. We start by cleansing our bodies, changing our lifestyle, our habits, our diets, meaning anything that we consume with our bodies and minds. And we start making changes one by one. Taking the power back into our hands is an empowering step. That is not the only step. And this is something very important I want to share with everybody. It all comes down to integrity, right? If you are not serious to get out of the victimization mode of perpetuating the state of your health and finding excuses, you are not serious to make a change, right? To take the power back in your hands is an empowering state, but then it needs your integrity and your devotion and your consistency to be in place. Otherwise, anything that I explained today, or bringing all these pieces of the puzzle together, putting them in the right order, creating protocols, doing water fasting, doing everything in a holistic way, if there is not devotion and integrity within yourself, this will never be achieved. And I say that with a lot of confidence because I've seen it through my own healing journey and through the healing journey of others. That people come to me and they go all the way in and they see incredible results. Cancer patients completely being with no cancer, skin conditions, autoimmune diseases, and there's some other people who do not go all the way in and they're not healing because all goes down to how serious you are to take the power back into your hands and how much you can stay in integrity with yourself. We're not talking about integrity with one another, right? Because integrity starts first within us by making the atoms of your being solid and updating the inner waters. Consciousness resides there. Here is my information, my Instagram, my online program, Restore the Human Body. It's a 3-month program. It combines the bioresonance, the biohacking and water fasting, my mail and my WhatsApp. We have a retreat coming up 21st of June in Greece. For whoever would like to join that, we go really deep there in a very ceremonial way. Um, we have a next water fasting journey online through the Restore the Human Body next week. And you can start with me any moment. But the first step is your bioresonance. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing. Let me just see the start. Oh, thank you so much. Have a good night, Luna. Stop sharing so I can all see you back. And have a glass of water after 2 hours talking. Thank you so much for sticking around. It's been 2 hours. I know that always takes around 2 hours for all this information. It's a lot. It's a lot to digest. I invite you to take a moment to actually watch the recording and go through that again at your own pace. Reach out to me any moment you need support. Um, I am here. I'm a people's person. I'm very approachable anytime on my Instagram, on my phone, on everything, with my healthy boundaries as well. And now I would like to open space for questions if you have any questions, so we can also spend maybe the next 10 minutes until we make it 2 hours and 30 minutes. Um, you are wonderful that you are still here being with me. Okay, any questions? Thank you so much, Mallory. Thank you for being here. Any questions before we close this webinar? Okay, we can wait for you, Luna, to write it in English. Anyone else until Luna um, write her question? I've heard that it's not good to mix fruit with proteins and fat, that you should always start the morning with. You can eat fruits with other foods. So eat the fruits alone, right? You can't have, for example, watermelon with anything else because it ferments in your body. So now, if we want to understand fully how glucose spikes affects our hormones, and you want to have fruit, which is glucose, what you need to do first to biohack and have a buffer in your body, so you don't have a glucose spike, is to eat some leafy greens before, and then you can have your fruit. Ideally, on biohacking, we never have fruits alone in the sense of as a snack. We never start our morning breakfast with fruits. We start with a savory breakfast of fiber, protein, fats. Example: spinach, eggs, avocado. Simple as that. You want to add carbs, then you have to eat them at the end. A slice of gluten-free bread, for example, or sweet potatoes, right? So the way that we eat the food is first the fiber, all your green leaves, for example, then your protein, your egg, then your avocado. And then if you want to add carbs, just sweet potato at the end. You want to add a fruit, it has to come at the end of your meal. This is the order that we eat to biohack the system and not have glucose spikes. I don't agree with foods in the morning as breakfast because your spikes are going to be super high for the beginning of your day. And this is not how women should be eating. This is not the same for men. Okay. Men can eat in a very different way. This is for women, for our hormones, and really understanding how to support the body. Oh, hi, Tatiana. Didn't know you're here. Sweet. Yeah, diabetes. It's insulin resistance. It needs to go into fasting and bring this down. It has a lot of other processes as well, but the main thing is insulin resistance. It's how we eat. For example, if you have diabetes and you start your day with fruits, you're not helping your process at all. We need to know how to eat in the right way, in the right order to support our bodies not to have that insulin resistance. And then, of course, blood sugar on your pancreas. There are other processes there that I can only see from your bioresonance scan, where I can see what other deficiencies are present in the body. But for diabetic people, fasting, and we've talked about that in the past, is um, showing incredible results. You're welcome. My pleasure, Luna. Okay, sweet. I think we're done. We answered the questions. We didn't have many. I hope everything was explanatory enough and with a lot of details and information for you all. I'm gonna also stop sharing. Actually, where is the sharing button? Oh no, I have already stopped that. Okay. Okay. Have everyone a beautiful, beautiful evening. Thank you again so much for being here. I will send the recording on your emails and I'll see you soon. Rest well.